Bismillah. Let's continue our discussion on the elements of visual design. Now we are going to talk about shapes. So the next design element is shape. What is a shape? Apa itu shape? Secara definisi, a shape is a two-dimensional area defined by a clear boundary. This boundary can be formed by lines, colors, textures, or negative space. Jadi, shape itu adalah area dua dimensi yang dikelilingi oleh batasan yang jelas. Batasan ini dapat dibentuk oleh garis, perbedaan warna, tekstur, atau ruang negatif. Nah, banyak orang yang menerjemahkannya dengan bentuk dalam bahasa Indonesia ya. Ini nggak salah, ya, tapi kita akan menggunakan kata bidang untuk menerjemahkan kata shape. Karena nanti kata bentuk ini bisa tertukar dengan istilah form yang akan kita bahas nanti ya. Essentially, if you use line to create a shape, and when you draw a line and created a loop, meaning that the starting point meets the ending point, then you basically create a shape. We can group shapes into three categories or types ya. Kita bisa kelompokkan menjadi tiga. You can see here ya, the left ones are the geometric shapes. Ya, ini bentuk-bentuk geometris ya, geometric. Kemudian the center ones are the organic shape. Yang tengah adalah bentuk organik ya. And the right ones are the abstract shapes ya. Ini bentuk-bentuk yang abstrak. So the first type is geometric. These are precise and predictable shapes that can be created using mathematical formulas. They typically have structure, symmetry, and order. Jadi ini adalah bidang-bidang yang presisi, dapat diprediksi, dan dapat dibuat menggunakan rumus matematika. Bentuk-bentuk ini biasanya memiliki struktur, simetri, dan keteraturan. The second type is called organic. They are free-flowing or irregular shapes that are often asymmetrical. Asymmetrical itu artinya tidak simetris ya. They resemble natural elements or objects found in the real world. We can usually name these shapes easily because they symbolize real objects. Jadi mereka adalah bidang-bidang yang memiliki alur bebas ya atau tidak beraturan serta sering sekali bersifat asimetris ya, tidak simetris. Jadi kanan atau kirinya beda atau atas bawahnya beda. Bentuk-bentuk tersebut menyerupai elemen atau objek alami yang ada di dunia nyata. Kita biasanya dapat menamai objek-objek atau bentuk-bentuk ini dengan mudah karena bentuk tersebut melambangkan objek nyata. Ya, jadi itu adalah yang organik. The third type is called abstract. Ya, they are shapes that do not attempt to accurately represent the real world. Instead, they are driven by emotion, concept, or random experimentation. Jadi mereka adalah bidang-bidang yang tidak berusaha merepresentasikan dunia nyata. Sebaliknya, bidang-bidang ini dibuat berdasarkan emosi, konsep, atau eksperimen secara acak. Usually, we can find geometric shapes as parametric objects in graphic software, or graphic objects that we can tweak using parameters. Ya. Jadi yang dimaksud dengan parametric object ini adalah objek yang kalau kita buat misalkan di Affinity, kita masih bisa atur parameter-parameternya. Misalkan mau seberapa jauh, rounded cornernya, ya, dan sebagainya. As for organic shapes, we can find some organic shapes as parametric objects in graphic software also, but most of them are ordinary or editable shapes. For example, in Affinity, you can create a heart shape quickly because you can find the shape as parametric object, but you cannot create a tree, for example, or a cloud. Yeah, you need to create that using custom technique. And for the abstract shapes, all of them are custom shapes that you need to create manually. So, how can we use shapes in design? There are many scenarios that you can use shapes in your design. Some of them are for framing elements. Basically, we use shapes as containers that isolate, hold, and structure information. Then, for directing focus, so just like lines, we can create visual guidance deliberately using shapes through clever compositions. Next, decorations. We can use shapes just for decoration to populate the background or an area. Then, creating patterns. We can create patterns using mainly shapes. Next, we can use shapes for building identity. Building identity means that we can paste company logos to create pattern or decoration, for example, because most logos are just simple shapes. And we can also use shapes for creating depth. We can use shapes to create the illusion of depth in our design. Let's see some examples. In this image, we can see how shapes are used to frame a content. At the left, a bulb shape is used to contain text, while on the right side, an abstract curve shape is used to contain a photograph. Next, on the left, we can see a movie poster of a Star Wars movie. And on the right, we can see a book cover design. Both of these posters use negative space as the boundary of a shape. The left movie poster has a shape that resembles Darth Vader. Because people may not recognize that this is a shape of Darth Vader, the designer added visual cues using these three branches to form the eyes and the mouth part of the helmet. On the right side, the shape resembles a person, as if there is a man in there but hidden between the trees. So it cleverly illustrates the theme of the book and its title, The Man in the Woods. Next, in this image, we can see how shapes are used to create patterns. We can use this pattern for carpets, wallpapers, blankets, and so on. Next, in the left image, the designer used these sharp triangles to direct the viewer's eyes toward the center to communicate the 50% discount promotion. In the center, we can see a book cover design with large dark shape of a whale. The whale itself is not clear or just look like a shadow. I believe that this is intentional so the viewers become curious and persuaded to buy the book. And in the right part, we can also see a book cover design where the tree trunk shifts directing the focus to the top of the title of the book. Again, these are some examples how we can use shapes to direct or guide people's attentions. Alright. The next image is quite unique. Personally, I don't think this is a real photo, but an AI-generated image. Nonetheless, it is possible to design an interior like this image. You may want to use this kind of style for kindergarten, elementary school, or a waiting room in a hospital for pediatrician, for example. For your information, pediatrician is dokter anak kalau di dalam bahasa Indonesia. Jadi sekali lagi, pediatrician itu artinya dokter anak. Next, the left image is a poster to promote voting right for women in America. You can see how the designer cleverly mixes negative space, abstract, or organic shapes to illustrate women in America. On the right side, we can see a movie poster for the famous movie titled Rocky, which was starred by Sylvester Stallone. The movie tells the story of a boxer's journey from the bottom level of the boxing world until eventually become a world champion. In this poster, you can see how positioning shapes and scaling them can create an illusion of depth. It looks like the Rocky character is climbing a very long and high stair. It is illustrating the struggle that he needed to go through to become the champion. Okay. Now, let's discuss the psychological impact or effect of several basic shapes. Circles and ovals. Circles and ovals usually represent community, unity, eternity, and protection. They are soft, inviting, and lack sharp edges. Lingkaran dan bentuk oval atau elips biasanya melambangkan komunitas, persatuan, keabadian, dan pelindungan. Bentuk-bentuk ini terasa lembut, mengundang, dan tidak memiliki sudut yang tajam. Again, I need to remind you that psychology is a quite subjective topic. Ya, jadi psikologi itu adalah topik yang sifatnya subjektif. Different people may have different emotion towards different shape. For example, if someone fell into a well, well ini maksudnya well sumur ya. Jadi kalau ada orang jatuh ke sumur, they might develop a trauma in adulthood upon seeing circular shapes, especially dark colored ones. Jadi kalau ada orang yang waktu kecilnya pernah jatuh ke sumur misalkan, dia mungkin akan punya trauma ketika dewasa saat melihat bentuk lingkaran, terutama kalau lingkarannya gelap, gitu ya. Jadi again, meskipun secara umum lingkaran menunjukkan protection, tapi bagi orang yang punya trauma mungkin menunjukkan ancaman justru atau horor. Ini sekedar contoh saja. In this image, we can see a logo of a community-based organization. You can see how the circular shape is used to depict community or unity. On the right side, we can see a painting. Notice how these different shapes and lines that are contrasting to one another become cohesive, protected, and united when we draw a large circle around them. If you imagine removing the black circle, the shapes and lines will not look or feel united anymore. Next are squares and rectangles. Squares and rectangles convey trust, stability, honesty, and security. Their right angles project discipline and professionalism. Bentuk persegi dan persegi panjang mencerminkan kepercayaan, stabilitas, kejujuran, dan keamanan. Sudut-sudut tegak lurusnya memancarkan kesan disiplin dan profesionalisme. Hal ini berkaitan dengan kebiasaan kita ketika melihat bangunan yang kokoh, biasanya berbentuk kotak-kotak. Itulah sebabnya saat kita melihat desain yang kotak-kotak, kita terbawa emosi ke arah stabilitas, integritas, formalitas, dan disiplin. The last one is the psychology of triangular shape. Triangles signal power, direction, action, and risk. Upward triangles indicate growth, while downward triangles suggest danger or caution. Segitiga melambangkan kekuatan, arah, tindakan, dan risiko. Segitiga yang mengarah ke atas bisa menandakan pertumbuhan, sedangkan segitiga yang mengarah ke bawah bisa mengisyaratkan bahaya atau kewaspadaan. Contoh gambar segitiga menunjukkan power adalah gambar piramid ini. Karena struktur yang mengecil di atas dan besar di bawah, bentuk piramid terasa seolah kuat dan kokoh. On the right side, we have a warning sign and danger sign. Notice that most of danger or hazard signs in the world use triangles. Again, this is because triangles can have psychological impact of danger, risk, action, and caution. Now, as a designer, you can cleverly use different shapes to attract people's attention and drive their focuses. In this example, the left poster is good. I'm not saying that the left one is bad or anything like that, but the right poster is more clever in using different types of shapes to guide people's attention. Notice how most of the frames and shapes use rounded corners, while the text here uses a frame in a rectangle shape with sharp corners. This design makes us want to read the text here, while the design on the left does not do that. Everything is equally the same, as everything is shaped as a rectangle. The next element of design that we need to discuss is form. So what is a form? We can define a form as a visual appearance that suggests a three-dimensional object with height, width, and depth. Jadi, form adalah penampakan visual yang seolah menunjukkan keberadaan objek tiga dimensi yang memiliki panjang, lebar, dan tinggi. Di dalam bahasa Indonesia, kita bisa terjemahkan form dengan kata bentuk atau wujud. Nah, saya cenderung menggunakan kata wujud, karena sekali lagi, kata bentuk ini sering digunakan juga untuk menerjemahkan shape yang dua dimensi. Now, of course, our flat monitor screen, or when we draw on papers, we cannot actually create real 3D objects. So in these mediums, we can only create the illusion of 3D. If you want to create a 3D object in real life, you can model the object inside a 3D software such as Blender and then use a 3D printer to create an actual 3D objects. However, for now, we will be focusing on flat or 2D medium in which we are creating the illusion of 3D. Alright, so how can we create forms in 2D mediums? There are many techniques to do this. If you're using mostly lines, you can draw objects by following the perspective lines. Next, you can use manual hatching atau arsiran dengan pensil atau pena to create the illusion of shadow and light. Next, you can also experiment with contours. Contour lines are lines that we draw to indicate different levels of depths, as if we are drawing on a 3D surface. We will see what contour lines are in a moment. Next, we can use overlapping shapes and subtle drop shadows to suggest depth in our design. And then, we can create the illusion of depth using value or color differences. Yang dimaksud dengan value adalah perbedaan gelap terang. Jadi sekali lagi, value adalah perbedaan gelap dan terang. Kita akan bahas masalah value dan color ini ya in more depth in other lessons insyaallah. Sedangkan color adalah warna ya. For this we can use simple solid color, then we can use gradient coloring, and finally we can have the software to calculate or simulate lighting for us. Making 3D objects looks realistic by simulating light and texture is the process called rendering. We will discuss rendering in more depth in Blender 3D courses. For now, let's see some examples. In this image, we get a feeling that we are inside a corridor, although in reality, these are just a bunch of lines. This can happen because the lines follow the perspective rules. All of these lines are going into the same vanishing point. Next, here, we can see apples created with only lines also, not only to define the shape boundary, but also used to illustrate light and shadow using hatching or arsiran di dalam bahasa Indonesia. Jadi sekali lagi, hatching itu adalah arsiran di dalam bahasa Indonesia. Once again, in this image, we can see how drawing simple lines but using perspective rules can help us to create the illusion of depth. This includes when we draw objects such as windows, trees, using different scales. If they follow the perspective lines or going into a vanishing point, our brain will pick them up as having different distances from the eyes. Looking at this image makes us feel that we are standing in the middle of a street. So again, you can create forms or the illusion of depth and 3D using just lines. Next, these images represents contour lines. On the left, we can see a canyon with a river flowing at the center of it. In bahasa Indonesia, we can translate canyon as ngarai. Jadi intinya adalah semacam lembah yang panjang yang di tengahnya ada sungai, itu ngarai atau canyon in English. In the center image, the lines form a creature face. I believe it's an elephant, or maybe a hog. And on the final image, we can see a well, or a hole in the ground. In conclusion, contour lines are lines that are drawn to indicate different levels of depths, as if we are drawing on a 3D surface. Next, we can make use drop shadow effect or simple darkening to make shapes look like they are going out of the surface or going down into the surface. Placing the shadow outside of the shape and at the bottom part make the object popping out, while placing the shadow inside the shape and at the top area can make it look like it's being carved out or cut out of the surface. Using this simple technique, you can create beautiful artworks, paintings, and designs. For example, the one on the left combine the technique with wood and paper texture. This making the artwork looks more realistic. In the middle, we can see the technique of just using simple shapes with white background. While on the right image, we can see how a bunch of circular shapes can form beautiful artwork just by using drop shadow technique. Just imagine if you place this image in a living room, for example. From far away, it looks like the circles coming out of the wall and going into the wall. Next, on the left side, we can see how solid or flat coloring can be used to create forms or depth. Although they are not realistic, these colors with different values can convey 3D objects in space. We can also see how solid colors are being used to create different forms of plastic objects. There are no gradients or smooth shading in this image, only solid colors. But we can clearly see and understand the objects. This poster is basically telling us that plastics now pollute the sea. Pollute itu artinya mengotori atau menciptakan polusi ya. Saking banyaknya plastic waste or trash, it makes it as if these plastic objects a new creature of the sea. That is why, if you notice the shape, the overall shape resembles a dolphin, right? This is the head, this is the fin, and this is the tail. Next, we can see another example of how we can use solid colors to display forms. We can use solid colors to define the forms, to draw the texture, and to even create the shadow. On the right, we can see zigzagging channels created with solid colors. It seems like these small objects are flowing inside the channel, but then some get stuck in the middle. In the next examples, we can see how gradient coloring can be used to define forms also. Gradients atau gradasi di dalam bahasa Indonesia adalah pewarnaan yang menggunakan minimal 2 warna dan perubahan secara bertahap dari warna-warna tersebut. We'll discuss gradients in more depth later. By combining light and dark color gradients, we can simulate how light and shadows behave, thus creating the illusion of depth. Next, in these images, we can see a mix of solid coloring and gradient coloring to create the illusion of depth. On the image at the left, we can see non-important surfaces are colored in solid or flat coloring, while the important objects are colored using gradients. One object even uses texture. In this example, we can see how we can guide people's attention if we mix complex shaded objects with flat coloring. The right image is basically the same. We have flat colorings here and there, and then some gradient colorings to simulate shadows. Now, if you need to simulate forms in the most realistic ways, you can use 3D software like Blender. Nowadays, you can also use AI to create realistic images. The problem with AI is that it still cannot create image precisely based on real measurement unit. In this example, I used Blender to design an interior for my client. The project is actually a full house design. I was commissioned to design the exterior, the architecture, and also the interiors. The location of the house is in California, USA, near the Malibu beach. Other examples of my works. This is a house in Cikarang, and this is the main office of the Golkar political party, kantornya Partai Golkar. For the house, I use Blender, but for the Golkar office, I use a 3D software called 3ds Max. Before we end the video, let's recap or conclude what we have learned so far. There are many different elements of designs. We can categorize them into 9 types: line, shape, form, space, value, color, pattern, texture, and text. So far, we have only covered the first 3 types, which are line, shape, and form. Alright? Some of the benefits studying these elements are: first is visual control. We learned that we can use a combination of lines, shapes, and forms to direct how the viewer looks at a page. The second benefit is for faster sketching. If you can break down any complex object into simpler shape, you can draw the object by first drawing the shapes or forms to create guidance before finalizing the drawing. The third benefit is that you can explain why design looks good or bad confidently using the correct words or terminology. By now, you also understand why certain designs evoke itu membangkitkan atau memicu emosi tertentu. By knowing this, you can use certain lines or shapes or forms to make your design look professional and formal, or relaxed and playful, and so on. Last but not least, you can practice the theories that you have learned in many different ways. For example, you can train your brain to break down complex visuals down into simpler shapes and forms. When you see complex shapes or forms, try to imagine what basic shapes or forms that they possess. Add depth to your shape drawings by using hatching to simulate light and shadow. So after drawing a simple circle, for example, try to add hatches to the drawing to turn it into a sphere or a 3D ball. Next, learn to display forms using only lines with the contour technique. You can try creating unique shapes or forms by simply drawing black and white contour lines like the ones we saw earlier. Finally, try to implement contrasting shapes and lines to direct people's attention. For example, if all of the shapes have sharp corners, you can create one in the middle with rounded corners. Or perhaps you can create shapes with mostly circular shapes, but then create a triangle or a rectangle to direct the focus to that shape. Barakallahu fikum. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.